Hello and welcome to today's video as we cover Worlds 2024 Swiss Stage Day 2. A lot of interesting games today. Added a little bit of different flair to the content in terms of how we're going to look at these games. Not necessarily as much of what happened, but more so who was in control of the game in general. And then trying to determine, which games are actually close or not so close based on that. So first we have BLG, LNG. LNG win. Yesterday I did have to edit out my BLG, LNG part. Audio was terrible. Something happened there and it just didn't work out. But LNG had beaten BLG during summer. That was with Shun in the lineup, but I guess Wei did not make a difference in that equation as LNG won today. Zika 6-2-10, 32% of damage on a Rumble. Rumble, big pick today. A lot of wins on the Rumble. Maybe picking Rumble as one of the most banned champs or whatever I did. Maybe wasn't too off. Scout 717 on a Yone. Yone very strong to pair with a Rumble. AP-AD. Elk 435, 30% of damage and a loss on Jin. LNG were in control of this game 60% of the minutes. Rough estimate, by the way. That's not down to the second. That's just roughly looking at minutes, gold leads, and Drake's. The value in which somebody gets from Drake, added on and things like that. Like, so if you get whatever the gold value is, I found some website that put up some way to kind of determine how much each Drake was worth back in March. That's the most recent I have. So if anyone has something more recent to determine gold value for Drakes by themselves, comment down below in terms of, something to look at. Because I would like to use that to try and figure out who are in control of these games based on gold and objectives. Because objectives do play a role, and sometimes we trade a turret for an objective, and it's like, well, how much is that objective worth? Well, back in March, they were saying an Infernal Drake was worth 500 gold total for the team in the first 18 minutes or something like that. So just something to consider. So LNG upset BLG. GenG Top Esports. This was the only one where a team won with less control. So GenG only were in control of this game 41% of the time. Top Esports came out very strong. Cream was okay on the Lucian, but 369 on the Rumble was very, very good. FaZe 14-1-11, 42% of damage on a Kaisa. One of the better performances of the day, if not the best performance. FaZe reminding everybody, hey, I am one of the best here. Into Jackie Love and Mako. As the game went along, that's when his value really came through and shined. Yone for Chovy going 9-2-8 was also super good. 369's Rumble 737, 36% of damage in the loss. But GenG were only controlled 41% of the time when you look at Drakes and Gold. Really, Top Esports kind of tossed this one away. They should have won it. They didn't, but that's really, you think back, hell, MSI was a 5-game series. We look back at this game, close. It's going to be down to the wire. Top Esports should be in this conversation for world champions along with GenG, HLE, BLG. And now after BLG lost, hell, LNG are going to be a tough team to get through for them because they haven't beaten LNG in quite a while. G2 HLE. HLE would win with 74% of the control. Zeka 10-0-4, 46% of damage. I did not write down what champions he played. I think he may have played Smolder. Delight 0214. We're going with a Renata on that one. Maybe a Braum. Might have been Braum. Caps 136. 36% damage and loss on Ione. It was close for quite a while, but HLE always had a slight lead and advantage in terms of objectives and gold. So really to say, oh, well, it was a lot closer than what you're saying. HLE were ahead. And when you have an Eastern team ahead, they're going to win. I said yesterday when I looked at the matchup in general. G2 and HLE both played pretty damn good games yesterday. And if both teams play damn good games today, HLE are the better team, so they will win. And that was the case. Peanut outpacing Yike as well. Kingen wasn't on Ione. Was he? I thought Caps... Watching a lot of games trying to get it in. Team Liquid Weibo. Weibo won 55% of the control. So this was a very close one. Closest one of the day for the winner. I mean, GenG actually, like I said, didn't actually have the control for the majority. But Liquid performing very well into LNG and Weibo. A lot better than I expected them to. Despite picking against TL both times, they looked competitive. They had a chance to win it. Hell, some people believe, and I mean, I think there's an argument to be made that they could have won against LNG and they could have won today against Weibo. Could, should, would. I mean, they didn't. Breathe 744, 31% of damage on a Gnar. Definitely an interesting stat line for a Gnar to lead your team in damage, but that did happen as he came through in the late game. Orianna 1, 2, and 9. Oh, Jesus. Xiaohu 1, 2, 9 on an Orianna. APA 735, 30% of damage on a Syndra. Impacts Renekton as the game went along. I mean, Renekton's not great in the late game. Not quite as great as a Gnar. The Gnar with a great ulti in the final team fight to really kind of give Weibo the push they needed to finish this one. Light coming through as well. Weibo just the better team, and TL need to play a perfect game to beat them, and they simply did not. But it was close, 55-45. I mean, that's a lot closer than I would have expected it to be yesterday. T1 Pain Gaming. Oh, by the way, I was 7-1 on predictions today. BLG, LNG was the only one I got wrong. T1 Pain. Not the most lopsided game of the day. Looking at it, 76% of the time, T1 had the lead in golden objectives. Pain actually opened this one up and played aggressive. They got a 2v2 kill, Cheeton Curry into Guma Carrier. They were able to kind of hold a gold lead for the first 8 minutes or so. But then things unraveled and they lost the game. And I mean, it's better than the day before. They didn't get blown out as bad as D+ in FlyQuest today. Pain should come away today with the thing is, you see the fans and they're saying things like, we got 5 kills against T1, we should be proud, and we got the first hurt and this or that, and maybe our expectations are that low. And don't get me wrong, I come in with none because Brazil needs to just be here and take in this experience. But let's also not be too humble now. I mean, shit, you know. I mean, I think, and if anything, you should be happy. You were ahead for quite a little while out of this game. You're ahead for 26% of it. That is 24. Sorry, okay, a little too much credit. Zeus 4-2-10, 30% of damage on a Rumble. Owner 5-0-12 on a Vi. Jinkido 0-2-0, 31% of damage on an Akali. So no participation out of him, but yet he still dealt the most damage. Weiser on an Olaf was an interesting pick, to put it lightly. Karaoke was on a Sejuani. Cheeton, Callista, Guma was on Draven. Draven would have been the type of pick Pain should be playing in these games because, I mean, you got to force the issue here, and you need to kind of coin flip a win and get an advantage. But at the same time, I mean, they played better today than they did yesterday, played a little more freely, and we'll see in the 0-2 matchup if they can, against Team Liquid, give Liquid a little bit of a run here. We'll see. Liquid's played, like I said, very well against the LPL, so Pain does have their work cut out for them. But they, yesterday a lot of people were like, the draft, this, that, and the third, and it's like, yes, the draft was not great. It did not suit what they needed to do. That's part of what I'm saying. Not only the players, but the coaches also needed to be a little more aggressive and play a little more, be a little more carefree about the situation. And that, hell, we're here. Let's just try and have a good time. Let's try and be very competitive. Let's play our game and see what happens. And they just simply weren't playing their game yesterday. Today, a little bit more. And hopefully against Liquid, they do play the way that they know they can play and their fans expect them to play. Play in a very aggressive, chaotic, carefree, balls to the wall style. That's what I like to watch myself. So, I hope that they do that. Hope they play with no fear and they play like, hey, we're here and what do we have to lose? What do you have to lose, really? I have people in my Discord and things. I think they're a little jealous of the fandom that Pain Gaming gets because they get upset and they mock them because they're losing. And it's like, you know, um, this is a big deal for those people. And I don't know, mocking those people for being happy about their team even being here, I think is just it just says a lot about an individual or individuals or groups of people. Um, you know, like they say, I'm being a suckhole for Brazil. Not necessarily. I talk highly of all the minor regions for a reason because they are the underdogs, and underdogs should be treated like underdogs and not like favorites. And it's cringe as fuck when people mock underdogs. It really is. Um, Probably a complex that they have, but that's neither here nor there. D plus FlyQuest, the biggest blowout of the day. So D plus are ahead for 82% of this one. Despite the kill score being close, D plus always were ahead in gold and objectives combined. So Showmaker 9 3 10, 28% of damage on a Silas. Aiming 918 on a Smolder. Masu 5-3-11, 28% of damage on Ashe. FlyQuest did have moments. Bwippo, solo kill solo kill on a Darius into Showmaker, but the thing is, D plus were ahead and were in control. And that's kind of the name of the game here. No matter how close FlyQuest got, they weren't ahead. They were not ahead. And that's kind of the thing. Like D plus could say, "Oh shoot, we just made that mistake," but it's okay. We're still ahead. Let's regroup. Let's keep growing. D plus, a young team in definitely the jungle role, and then the support role leaves a lot to be desired. And hell, maybe this tournament will help him. And I just mentioned King in for HLE, and it should have been Doran. Doran actually had no KP, or sorry, very low, like 1, 2, and 3 or some shit for HLE. But King in for D plus, having to come through for them. Yeah, on the Yone. He played Yone for D+. Mixing up my teams. HLE King in last year. Fnatic Gam. Fnatic win with 61% control. Noah 4-1-13, 38% of damage on a Ziggs. June 4-2-11 on a Leona. So the bot lane duo 8-3 and 24. That's pretty good. Emo 5-3-4, 27% of damage in the loss on Smolder. You'd like Levi to get Kiea and Levi did have, an advantage in the early game. Gam were ahead, but then they simply weren't hell. We were in the early game and I don't even think it got to the 10-minute mark before Fnatic started taking over. Now 61% means it did go back and forth a little bit, but Fnatic just always had an underlying advantage there with Noah, just getting stronger as the game went along. Razork on the J4, very different than the Zyra, right? We have a carry-oriented champ and then a facilitator through and through, and that sort of look is what you need to offer if you're Razork, and also Fnatic in general. They need to be diverse with their champion selection, and they seem to be today. PSG Mad Lions Koi, I ended up changing my prediction on the video yesterday for my members that I did end up going with PSG in the end. Wanted to pick an upset, and that's the one I chose. PSG came out and they popped Mad in the mouth, and Mad really just kind of went home crying. They looked rough, kind of moved on to the next day. They're going to be playing against Gam, so, we'll see if Levi can do what Maple did, but nevertheless, PSG ahead for 74%. Betty 708, 32% of damage on Kaisa. Junjia 1016 on a Maokai as Maokai continues to get picked. And as a team like GenG makes picks, other teams are going to look and be like, I'm going to try and copy GenG. So expect to see quite a bit of Maokai. We're seeing Silas, and I always have said since 2022, and we all know this, a lot of the Maokai's value is that ultimate and how it's zoned. So if you're Silas, you steal that ultimate because now the Maokai is nowhere near as useful as it was before. It's a massive pick. So are we going to end up with a 2022 meta again? We'll see. If so, HLE and Top Esports will be very happy to see it. Frescawi 371, 40% of damage. I don't know where Supa went in this one, but it was not dealing damage, as FaZe led on the Smolder by quite a bit. Definitely one-sided. The game was one of the, like I said, one of the more one-sided ones of the day. Actually, really, I mean, hell, the control is almost the same as T1 Pain Gaming. 74% in one side to one side. Preview for tomorrow. So GenG HLE. Last time they played HLE, won 3-2 in LCK finals, grand finals. GenG had beaten them 3-1 the week before. So this is the rubber match that I really wanted to see. This is my bracket finals reset that should have happened, and we'll see if GenG and HLE are up to the task. This is how I determine who is better in LCK. This is how we're going to do it. Viper 19-3-29, 36% of damage in the win. FaZe 12-9-32, 25% of damage in the loss. Chovy actually led in DPM between both teams by a large margin. I want to say like 850 DPM, or both of these guys had like 500 something. So goes to show you that Chovy was like on another level in that one. Now give Viper his credit, because he only died 3 times in 5 games and led with 36% of damage. I mean, that's Viper for you right there. He took over in that one. So based on how FaZe played today, I mean, FaZe is going to be ready for the challenge. We're going to have 3 former GenG players against GenG in this best of 3. LNG D+, I didn't expect this. So both teams, I'm pretty sure that I didn't have in my top 8 going into quarters. So one of them's going to go for sure. Never have played against each other in terms of organizations. Showmaker and Scout have played against each other if you're new to this whole deal. Worlds 2021 finals. D+ versus, well, actually Damwon Key at the time, or whatever the hell they were called, and EDG. So in that one, Scout went 14-12-25 with 25% of damage as he won Worlds. Showmaker 16-7-17, 26% of damage in the loss. That one's going to be a interesting matchup. Lucid into Weiwei. If Lucid can step up, it'll be I think it'll be a D+ win if Lucid can step up. Now, Gala Hung into aiming Moham. I like Gala Hung in that one because Gala can match aiming. And, I mean, Hung is better than Moham. Top lane, Zika into Kingen. It's probably Zika favored, but I think both kind of give you a different vibe. I think Kingen can offer a different look, and that may be worthwhile. Maybe you get Lucid on a carry and free him up. I don't know. But it's going to be competitive. I think it goes to, it'd probably go to 3 games. LNG coming off of a big win against BLG, and D+ have been kind of meh in their 2 wins, so that's a thing. But nevertheless, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.